Hello and welcome to Third Act Film. This is going to be a video we've already done in the past, but we thought it was such a, got a lot of great ideas from it that we'll do it again. And it's the premise is making a new trilogy out of 3 films that aren't part of the same series. So hang on with us, but it does make sense once we've offered a suggestion. Here with me is Todd James.
Hello.
And I'm James Forbes.
Hello, James.
All right, Todd, we've kept this secret from each other for like a week now.
We've been planning this for a while.
So if you could...
So there's no excuses.
No excuses. If you could reveal to me your first new trilogy.
Okay. This one I think is good, but I think you will hate. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Total Recall.
Total Recall.
Either one. I don't care which one of those. They both work. Jumanji.
Okay.
Inception.
Okay. So what, they're all dreams?
So, right, let me explain.
Go on.
So you watch Total Recall, and probably the first one's better because it hints a lot more rather than beating you over the head with the fact that it might be fake.
Yeah.
Right, and then you hear the sequel to that is coming out, and you watch Jumanji, and you're like, what the hell was that? That's not a sequel at all.
Yeah.
The only thing that possibly hints to it, spoilers for Jumanji, is at the end when they kind of wake up from it, but they know what happened, and they're yeah. And then you hear the third one in the series coming out, and you're like, oh, I've been burned before, but yeah, Christopher Nolan, so I'll give it a go.
Okay.
And then that so suddenly explain that is more or less what happened to all these people, that they got incepted.
Oh, right.
And all of these things that happened to them were in the dream state.
It might make more sense if Inception was first.
But that's why I don't want it to be first.
So that
I
the
like the
audience
thought. In my mind, it's announced as a trilogy.
Yeah.
So you know it's going to be all 3 are connected.
Okay.
I like the fact that it takes until the third one for you to know.
I suppose. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you'd have to add a couple of scenes in to explain how some of it worked.
So,
and you know how in Inception they have that machine that they all connect up to?
Yeah.
That's just the Jumanji board, mate. It's just the bloody game board from Jumanji.
Oh, right. Okay. I'm going to pass on that one.
Great, thank you.
Oh, wow.
I put a lot of effort into that as well.
I could tell, yeah.
So kind.
Moving on.
Fantastic.
My one is circling around Matt Damon.
Okay, sure.
You can probably guess what I'm going to say with this one. But you start off with Elysium. Matt Damon's, just traipsing around.
Okay, I know exactly where this is going.
Traipsing around. He's, worked in the factory. And then he gets, he volunteers to go to Elysium, which is this exclusive club for rich people. He
doesn't volunteer to go.
Okay. He has a disease.
He ends up.
He has a disease and he has to go there. So he goes there and success, kind of. And he wins the day. And then what happens next is that they're like, oh, you did a really good job with that. For some reason, we've created this massive halo around Earth, but we don't have the technology to go to Mars. So we're going to pay for you with other team of people to go to Mars. And that's where the film The Martian comes in.
Right.
And he goes there and he's gained his talents from the first film and his resourcefulness. He's also become a botanist in between.
Why wouldn't he? I think he was a botanist the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he gets trapped on that planet, and then we get on to the next film where he's experienced everything on The Martian.
Where he's the best of us, wink.
And now it's the end of the world and food is going to pot, and he's like, I'm a botanist and there's no food. This is pointless.
If I can't figure it out.
Yeah, but he's really famous now, and he's world renowned as the guy who was trapped on Mars. So they're saying we've destroyed this planet because we tried to build a halo across the planet just for rich people. So know what? We're gonna send Mark Watney or Matt Damon, I suppose.
Dr. Mann.
Hey, whoa, we're giving it away.
Oh, sorry.
No one was gonna guess that. You ruined it.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
And then, that they send him off to find another planet for humanity to continue with, and he becomes Mr. Man and
Dr. Man.
Well, he was Mr. Man first.
You're right.
Yeah, and then he gets onto a planet, and then
And the film is, for anyone who hasn't guessed yet...
Interstellar.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Born Supremacy.
So the three of them, Elysium, The Martian, Interstellar.
Yeah.
The Matt Damon
But like, as soon as you
special.
said it, I was like, that's silly. And now you've explained it, it kind of makes perfect sense.
Yeah. That they would pick him because he's so daring in Elysium to have challenged the status quo. So they're like,
He
right,
was like
we
the
need...
people's leader.
And then we're like, we need you to go to The Martian. You can have another subplot, perhaps. The rich people from Elysium deliberately sabotaged that mission so that he was left on that planet to die.
Ooh, right.
And then he survives it. So they try to get rid of him again and send him out even further out. And then that mission is sabotaged again, but he survives it. And then he goes through a portal through time, and then he's in World War II, and then he gets sabotaged again, and then all of his brothers that he suddenly have all die, Saving Private Ryan.
And you know what? Bloody Jessica Chastain, mate. She's there as well.
Yeah, she's in two of them, yeah.
Yeah. She's hanging around.
So
being
she's...
like, hello.
Yeah,
I'm
she's part
Jessica
of the...
Chastain.
Or maybe that's Jessica Chastain's daughter.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You never see the mum in Interstellar, do you?
No.
Oh my god.
Solved. Anyway, moving on. Your one.
I've got a similar one. Except that it's... I've gone for the Ryan Reynolds 2015 trilogy.
Okay.
Okay. So the timeline here doesn't match up, but let's not worry about that.
Cool.
So you start off with Ryan Reynolds as a lawyer, as like a great grandson or whatever of Schoenberg, the great composer, and he is fighting a lawsuit to win back a famous piece of art.
Yeah.
In The Woman in Gold.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
With Helen Mirren. Great.
Yeah. Eventually, this is a success, but you don't know what happens to him later. I mean, you do exist based on a true story, but that's beside the point.
Okay.
Later, in life, he gets kidnapped and has his mind wiped, and has the mind of Ben Kingsley
planted
put into his head.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Sure.
And the film I'm talking about is Selfless.
Oh yeah.
Which is surprisingly good.
Oh okay.
Yeah. And so that sort of plays with him, but in the end, he remembers who he really is. Blah blah blah.
It's like Helen Mirren.
But all this horrible, stressful life of being, a lawyer as a young man, then having his...
I can't think of the last
having
film.
His, real life taken away from him, turns him into a crazy serial killer in The Voices.
Oh, right. Oh, The Voices.
Where
yeah.
we find out what ultimately happens to this character.
That he's gone through so much torment and everyone's left him.
And what's particularly good about this is it's all the same guy. It all kind of lines up. And they all came out in the same year.
That's a huge stretch, a lot of these.
You're a huge stretch.
You have to forgive a lot.
Like the fact The Woman in Gold is in the past,
Yeah.
Selfless is in the future, and The Voices is present day. It's not important, James.
Yeah.
The fact is, it all works perfectly. You're not agreeing, I feel.
It's just a big stretch, but I like the Ryan Reynolds theme.
Yeah.
I don't have to recast him. But, yeah.
Right.
That's all. Let's go for it.
Okay.
Moving on.
And I gave you so much leeway with Matt Damon.
What I thought about Damon was good.
Great.
Ignoring the same Private Ryan. All right, this one. I guess the makings of a psychopath.
Okay.
Stay with me.
Here
You
it
start
comes.
off with Home Alone.
Okay.
You start off with Home Alone,
Yes.
and you know the story in that.
That would do something to a kid.
Yeah, little kid's left alone by his parents.
At
How many
home.
films did they do where their parents kept on forgetting him?
Only 2 with Macaulay
Okay.
Culkin.
But
Even so.
even so,
Bloody
that's bad.
traumatising, mate.
That's bad. So he's been left. Okay, I'll make this trilogy even bigger. Okay, so Home Alone 1, he's left, and then he has to look after himself and defend himself against intruders. Home Alone 2, the same thing happens again,
But in New York City.
but New York City.
They should have made a third one where he gets left in like the middle of Iraq. Or like some sort of... He goes back in time and gets stuck in no man's land.
Yeah, that'd be
Anyway.
pretty cool.
No, it wouldn't.
And then he's used to being left behind
Mm-hmm.
and being the only one to fight incoming assailants. And he grows up and he becomes a cop. And he becomes a cop. Why are you laughing?
Because it wouldn't happen.
He grows up and becomes a cop to, make sure other kids aren't left behind by their families
Okay.
and to give back. And he then becomes a cop who's married, and has a, he's in the midst of a divorce, but could make it back together. And it's Christmas time, and he makes his way to some plaza. And, and yeah, I love it. The film I'm referring to very softly is Die Hard, where he goes and meets, and all the skills that he learned when he was younger at Home Alone is continued in Die Hard, and he's in the perfect situation, so he fights his way off. And a lot of this is a lot of traumatic stress of being left alone, having to fight against the elements, and he kind of takes some lessons from that, and he sees it in a positive light. He sees the fact that without all of this suffering that I've had to go through, I wouldn't be who I am today. Okay, and it's made me stronger.
Okay.
So it gets a bit deranged as he gets older, and he sees in other people that they don't have to go through the same things. He comes from a big family. None of them were left behind. Mm-hmm. And his brother's out of work, and his sister's has a bad life, got a bad husband or whatever. So they're all having bad lives, but he's having a great one. So he's like, you know what? I need to give back to the earth. I need to make sure people go through enough suffering that they can appreciate life, like me.
Don't do it. Don't say it.
So he starts kidnapping people.
So he buys a puppet.
And buys a puppet. Reminds him of his childhood. There's probably a puppet somewhere in Home Alone. He buys a puppet, and he kidnaps people and forces them to commit.
To appreciate the life
they have. And the struggles that are part of life. I'm, of course, referring to Saw.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, makings of a psychopath. Okay. The trilogy.
The thing is, Home Alone and Saw.
Yeah.
I really buy that. That makes perfect sense to me. What's his face?
Right.
Even Tobin Bell, I want to say, is the actor in Saw.
Okay.
The guy who plays Jigsaw. Even he, I feel like, looks a bit like an older Macaulay Culkin.
Okay.
Die Hard.
I couldn't
where,
think of...
Where does that fit in?
I just needed another film where it's one man against the elements, and Die Hard's the ultimate film of that.
Okay. Sure. You know what? I'm going to give you a pass on that, because I think that is just a wonderful idea.
Yeah.
It's Home Alone to Saw is a natural progression. I don't know how you went via Die Hard.
I can't think of another film. There's probably someone in the comments is going to say the film, and we'll be like, oh, of course.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Your next one.
Okay. Please. This one is kind of one that we've covered some of this ground before in the last video. But I feel like I've got a bit of a unique twist on it. So you start off with Primer.
Love that film. For those who don't know, time travel film.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. Then you got Chappie, a film which you liked but then hated later.
Yeah.
And
I like the ideas more than actual film.
And you end up with Terminator.
Okay.
Now, what I like more about this than anything is that I like the thought of seeing where the time travel was invented, and I like the thought of seeing where the AI was invented.
As two separate films.
And I like that coming together. So say those two films, the first two were released completely unrelated.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure you would probably rather go for Ex Machina than Chappie. In fact, so would I.
Yeah, let's
So you got Primer, Ex Machina, and Terminator.
Cool.
And I just like, imagine if those first two were released, and then you heard, oh yeah, we're releasing a film that's a sequel to these two films that you didn't know were related. You'd be like, I am curious now.
So the sense that the first humans make a time machine rather than robots.
Yeah.
On accident. And then humans make... So they've made both the solution and the destruction and the problem.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I like the thought of seeing just where each of these elements have come from. That they weren't invented for the same reason. They didn't come together for the same purpose. They were just two... Because that's how it would happen in real life.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be like, oh, robots are taking over. Better invent time travel.
Well, the robots made time travel.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, it depends if we're going Genesis or not.
Well, that would still be the robots who made time travel.
No.
Yeah, for those
Dyson
spoilers for Terminator Genesis. Don't know why you're watching it. Waste of space, but it's a robot John Connor makes the time machine.
Oh yeah,
He makes it in
right. He gets Mars Dyson to finance
2017 or whatever, the present day.
No, you are right.
And then they just get the Dyson Corporation to fund
finance
it.
Yeah. But anyway, that I just thought was I wanted to think of three other things that I could combine together, but I ended up going over a bit of old ground. But even so, I think it's kind of...
It's so hard to do these trilogies without mentioning Terminator, The Matrix, any Christopher Nolan film.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
I've tried my hardest. I've mentioned one Christopher Nolan film, Interstellar, but it's still really difficult to do,
Anyway. Yeah.
Moving on. My last one. Have you got one more?
No,
that was your last one. Cool.
This is the last one. This is the big
one.
Trilogy.
Alright. I've written it down. I can't remember. Okay. So
that good, eh?
You start off with Jurassic Park. That they've made. They made all these dinosaurs and big monsters.
That is what happens in Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park, yeah. They make these dinosaurs and big lizards in this park, and things go awry, and then they have to run away. And everyone's seen Jurassic Park. Everyone gets that. And then instead of going into the Lost World, instead that what a few of these dinosaurs evolve, and that what they've done by accident is evolved them quite rapidly.
Yeah. And one mixing DNA.
And one has evolved very rapidly into almost something that's very close to a dinosaur, but not really, and is quite tall, very tall, in fact.
Godlike, you might say.
Godlike, almost, yeah.
Right.
And it leaves the park, and it decides to venture out. It's had enough. It decides to venture out, and it ventures out to our world, and we're like, holy macaroni.
Right. Which film are you talking about here?
I'm talking about Godzilla.
Oh, which one?
Anyway, just the concept of a Godzilla.
Right.
He comes out, and Earth isn't ready, destroys loads of stuff, and we're like, well...
Just by walking around.
Oh, thank God that's over. Like, good thing there's not more of them come into my next film, which is Pacific Rim.
I thought you were going to say that.
So, you would have to kind of ignore the fact that Pacific Rim explains that they come from this portal underneath the ocean in the Pacific.
The rim, specifically.
Instead of them coming out like that they're all stemming from this park, that the kind of evolutionary
why would you still go after that first one?
Oh, no one's going to the park. The monsters are leaving the park, and because of the kind of evolutionary contagion that they've accidentally created, it's turning these dinosaurs into weirdly shaped monsters.
Right.
Human race has to respond. Instead of, doing something sensible, like big walls, they make massive robots.
I would do that too.
The second you have a chance to make massive robots, you're like, well, let's go. Why are we standing here?
What do you mean giant guns in space? No. that makes no sense.
Well, we could just laser them. No. Like, I could get a magnifying glass, just a real big one. No! Yeah. I want my robots.
No.
So then, you have the robots
but it has to take two people to run it.
Of course. Don't know why.
Yeah, why,
Yeah. And the fact that they have to be inside the robot suit and not just from a safe distance.
This all makes sense to me.
What's a drone?
I mean, I understand you this word.
Anyway, they build big robots, fight them off, and they're trying to fight them back to the park as opposed to the rim. But the rim, oh wow,
great.
But it gets interrupted. It gets interrupted by someone else.
So this is a quadrilogy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you blow my mind.
It gets interrupted by someone else. Someone who's been there all the time. Someone who is quite deceptive. The Decepticons are there. I thought that would have given it away. The Decepticons have been there the whole time. They use this to their advantage to try and take over the planet. Humans have already built their own robot suits, but they're not able to take on the monsters and the Decepticons, so they start losing. And then Autobots have to come in and help. Meanwhile, the Jurassic Park monsters,
the regular dinosaurs,
the regular dinosaurs team up with the humans to fight the evolutionary contagion created Godzillas.
Right.
And take them on, and it'll be just a complete mess of dinosaurs, monsters, robots, Transformers, just going at it.
And then after that, the road.
like The Road or Mad Max or some like
that's
everything gets destroyed kind of film.
Yeah, fine, I'd watch it. Like, I can't say I wouldn't watch that series of films. I would watch and enjoy every second.
It would be insane.
Yeah, if at the end of every film they would like, so you watch Jurassic Park and at the end you're like, what, Godzilla? And then like you go and see Godzilla and you're like, Pacific Rim. Then you watch Pacific Rim and you're like, Transformers.
Yeah.
Then you watch Transformers like Viggo Mortensen.
Yeah.
Like what?
It'd be a bit weirder, but yeah.
Yeah, I'd watch it. I like that it keeps escalating.
Yeah. That's what I was writing it. I was like, okay, what's a popular film? I started with Jurassic Park. Right. And I'm like, how can I... And I wanted Pacific Rim in there. So that's kind of
the end game. Right.
I was like, let's get to this point, and then Transformers comes to me later. But yeah. All right, great.
Yeah, I love it.
If you guys have got any suggestion for 3 films or more that you could link together narratively or thematically, some people have done that in the past, do let us know in the comments below. I've been James Forbes.
I've been Todd James.
Bye.
3 stories, all just from different parts of the world.
And different time points as well. You don't want to be rained by fire. And it's...
You're right.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, if they had, actors in those
had
parts.
actors in the film.